Microsoft Surface Pro 4 The Essential Review. The following section contains all of the key points of our review that you'll need to know without having to read a full wall of text. For those seeking a try it or buy it recommendation in 30 seconds or less, keep reading, otherwise, skip to Design and Display. Buy Microsoft Surface Pro 4 128GB at Amazon for $587.99 after pervading the market 2 years ago. The Microsoft Surface Pro 4 remains a Windows 10 fan favorite. Sure, we saw the introduction of the aptly named Surface Pro in the first half of the year, but the changes weren't substantial enough to get most of our readers excited. The Surface Pro 4 was the natural progression of the Surface Pro 3 and the Surface Pro 2 before it. It's a two-in-one laptop and a Windows tablet by name. But perhaps its biggest sell is that it's the first in the series to come with Windows 10 Pro pre-installed. This was huge and still is, considering Surface Pro 3 users were stuck with the controversial Windows 8 unless they opted to perform an upgrade themselves. With the Surface Pro 4, however, Microsoft was more concerned with perfecting an already successful design rather than making any bombastic innovations. That's why it basically retains a similar look and feel to that of the Surface Pro 3, albeit with a few minor refinements, including a new chrome-laden Microsoft logo and a chassis more than half a millimeter thinner than the previous generation. The Surface Pro 4 also managed to introduce more levels of pressure sensitivity and a host of buttons to the signature, but sold separately, Surface Pen. Likewise, the Type Cover keyboard is heavier and more satisfying to the touch, while the screen resolution was bumped all the way to 2736 by 1824, making it 216 pixels per inch (ppi), as opposed to the 128 pixels per inch display of the 13-inch MacBook Air. To be frank, the most impressive aspect of this laptop, more so than any of the iterative refinements, is that the Surface Pro 4 stays well within the same modest price range as its precursor. That's $799, £749, $899 to start, without the Surface Pen and Type Cover keyboard. Those Surface Pen bundles can be found from $999, £749, $1,178. Buy Microsoft Surface Pro 4 Intel Core i5 4GB RAM at Amazon for $619.99. The biggest drawback for the Surface Pro 4, however, is how difficult it is to find. Unless you're keen on settling for the basic configuration with an Intel Core M3 CPU, 4GB of RAM and 128GB of SSD storage space. You won't find it on the Microsoft Store website, and it's only available refurbished on Amazon. Regardless, it's definitely worth it, especially on a budget. Whereas you can expect to pay $799, £799, $1,199 for an entry-level, 5th-gen Surface Pro with an Intel Core M3 processor paired with 4GB of RAM and 128GB of SSD storage space. You could get a Surface Pro 4 with a possibly more capable Intel Core i5 processor along with the same amount of RAM and storage space for $200 less. Design and display just like last time. The same all-magnesium, uni-body casing is still here, though the Surface logo has been replaced with Microsoft's new logo in chrome. Microsoft managed to up the device's screen size by a few hairs, from a straight 12 inches to this year's 12.3 inches, without affecting its footprint at all. In fact, the firm shaved more than half a millimeter off of its thickness, from 9.1mm to 8.4mm, all while fitting full-fat mobile processors. As for how this was done, the capacitive Windows button said goodbye. Thus the extra room for that 3/10 of an inch in the display. Then, Microsoft brought the screen's optical stack with a series of sensors. diodes and pixels beneath the glass, even closer to the glass now, a key point of Microsoft's trademark PixelSense screen technology. The display is thus incredibly responsive to touch, and the further sensitivity it brings to the stylus experience is huge. In tandem with the improved Surface Pen, the screen detects 1024 levels of pressure, even during a single stroke. Now, let's talk resolution. Even though it didn't have to, Microsoft increased the Surface Pro 4's resolution from 2160 by 1440, 216 pixels per inch, or pixels per inch, to 2736 by 1824. That makes for a huge 267 pixels per inch for the Surface Pro 4, which blows a key rival, the MacBook Air, 128 pixels per inch for the 13-inch. Out of the water and just barely beating out Apple's 12.9-inch iPad Pro at 264 pixels per inch. More importantly, the new screen proves to be way more luminous and more color accurate than the Surface Pro 3 display at all brightness levels. This is obviously going to be a pretty big deal for any designers or artists that are looking to upgrade from the Wacom tablet and calibrated monitor combo.